There's nothing more humbling and inspiring
and attractive
than witnessing somebody be truly and uniquely exceptional.
Except, of course, for their journeys. Maybe it's luck.
Maybe it's genetics.
Maybe it's work ethic.
Scott and I wanted to see if we could discover what makes some of the universe's most incredible humans the successes they've become, and ultimately find out exactly how they became
So good.
So good. How did you do it? How did you do it? You're so good.
Hey you guys, welcome to another episode of You're So Good. Today our guest is Bobby Berk, who is most known for being a member of the Fab Five on Netflix's Queer Eye, but long before that he had a very successful interior design company called Bobby Berk Interiors Plus Design, and he's here to tell us all about it. Here we go.
Hi, you guys. Welcome to You're So
Good.
My name is Scott.
I'm Rozzi.
This is Rozzi. And the exciting news is we have a full-on
A-plus
celebrity
guest.
moment.
A celeb.
Extremely talented.
And
Controversial
been-
statement, but I will say is the most talented on his show. Maybe they're all equally talented, but you do the most. You do the most, and that is just a fact. Okay, anyways, well, we have Bobby Berk on our show today. The Bobby Berk.
From Bobby Berk Interiors
Plus Design, but
we
also
go.
on the Netflix show Queer Eye, which is one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Literally?
Episode 1 of season 1, I'm sobbing.
You know
like
what? You know what?
that ugly sob.
Okay, wait. We should tell everybody also that we filmed our first episode like 20 minutes ago, which is why we're already lit right now.
Yeah. You're right.
I need to catch up.
What I love about Queer Eye, what I think everybody loves about Queer Eye, but it's this combination of funny, entertaining, silly, like I'm laughing, but I'm moved. Like
Moved.
I'm emotionally moved.
And it kind of makes it seem like, wait a second, your life can change and your self-confidence can change kind of easily.
Yeah,
like not
totally.
easily, but like it's
Yeah,
like
it's
if you
possible.
do these certain steps, you can start to love yourself in your life. And I
Should we
feel
let
like
Bobby speak?
Yeah, I was like,
yet?
are you guys still in your intro, or should I
this
jump
is going to
in?
always be the issue.
It was funny because after we filmed season 1 and 2, you know, nobody knew who we were when we were filming. So our producers,
Right.
you know, which are
Yeah.
still our family, they didn't know us as, you know, quote unquote celebrities, or know us as having gone through months of press tour. So
Right.
when we came back to do season 3, we had all been on probably 200 interviews,
Right.
where we speak at the same time, we have it down, we're like, hey, we're the Fab Five from
Yeah.
Netflix's Queer Eye. It's a machine.
You have it down.
We know exactly
Yeah.
what each person's gonna say, when they're gonna say it. And so when we got back to film season 3 and 4, and all the producers who hadn't experienced the machine of Fab Five was like, whoa, what the
Yeah.
hell?
They know what they're doing.
You guys are now
You
like,
are you
talk as
figured it all
one
out.
person.
Did y'all
Yeah.
have to do like the, hi, I'm Bobby, I'm Karamo, I'm
In the beginning,
and
yeah.
we're
Pentatonic
the
too?
Fab Five.
Do you guys
From
do that?
Netflix's Queer Eye.
It says, I feel connected to you because I am in a band
Of five.
of 5.
Right?
And like, I feel like we had to do the same thing.
I'm a
Christy.
solo
I'm Mitch.
artist, so I never have to do it.
I'm scary.
Are you lonely?
I love it.
Oh my God. No, this is actually,
solo
I'm
artist?
actually authentically, embrace it. Embrace it. You don't have to, but it's,
I deal with
you're not
no
married to
one,
4 other
honey.
people. Do you feel like you're married to 4
Oh my
people?
God,
5 people
yes.
if you count Dewey that's right next to you?
Some married, some I'm their parent.
Yeah.
Work.
Yeah.
Let's get into that.
I feel like I feel like Karamo and I are like mom and dad.
Yeah.
And then Anthony's like middle child, and Tan's actually like grandma.
Grandma, I see that for
Yeah,
Tan.
he's
that too.
Estelle from like Golden Girls. He's that
He's so
sassy
sweet.
grandma that just
Yes.
says exactly what he's thinking, but he's still in bed by 9.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then
I'm
Jonathan, of
jealous.
course, is, you know, Baby Spice.
Okay, am I being like the most basic straight girl ever, that like I have a crush on Anthony? Does every straight girl have a
Yes,
crush on
that is
him?
basic straight girl.
He
But
is
it's also
so-
basic straight guy.
I mean, I've never
gay guy.
I've never heard that before.
Really?
No.
Oh, I just
Straight
feel like
girls?
every
Oh my God,
girl.
I'm kidding. Girl, look at my
oh.
face.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. No, every time I like bring up Queer Eye, people are like, I want to fuck Anthony.
He's so beautiful. I
No,
mean,
he
he's
is
adorable.
beautiful.
It's funny though, because we're all like family. And
Yeah.
I mean, during casting,
all
don't get me
beautiful.
wrong, I was like, this
Yeah.
boy is pretty. But then we all became so close and
Of
got to know
course.
each other that none of us think of each other that way.
Right.
Yeah,
So
totally.
when the season
It's
1
like
and 2
Tatty.
came out
Yeah.
and the world flipped out over how beautiful Anthony is,
Yeah.
we were all like,
Right. You like
I
forgotten.
guess he is.
No, totally.
Yeah, we had forgotten because we don't
I-
think
He
of it
keeps
that
up
way.
with this
No,
Instagram.
I got a
He's
little-
always posting.
He's a babe.
Hot picks.
I get it.
All them traps.
You don't maybe know this, but I used to be signed to Adam Levine for Maroon 5, and that would happen to me all the time where moms would be like, how can you handle it? How can you keep your hands off of him? And like, when you get to know somebody, you just like forget. I didn't
You're
notice.
like, one, I have dignity, and two, and two, we've gotten to
One,
know
I'm
each other.
driven, yeah.
Oh my God, wow. Well, it's very cool to have you here, seriously.
And you're actually the ideal guest, I think, because the whole concept of this podcast is A, to have fun, and you're clearly fun because you have 2 drinks in front of you, and two, to talk about like ambition and work ethic. And your story is unreal.
I feel like we have to have a 3-hour podcast because there's so much to talk about. First of all, your story is amazing. 2, you're the best at what you do. 3, you were actually extremely successful before Queer Eye, which I love.
Me too.
And then Queer Eye, I always gravitate towards you when I watch the show.
Yeah.
Just because what you do is like so profound.
And we're both from Texas.
And we're both Texas
Are
girls.
you?
Texas.
Where,
He's from
where in
Houston.
Texas?
Houston, born in Houston.
Oh, like Beyonce.
Just like Beyonce. Oh my God, we're
I mean,
so up Beyonce's
I get
ass.
that
It's a joke.
all the time. People are like, "Oh,
No, I feel
you're just
annoying
like
saying it.
Beyonce."
You're just like Beyonce.
I get it all the
But you
time.
kind
But
of
you
are.
are.
You're definitely as pretty.
But wait. The thing that I always think about when I watch the show, and I could be so wrong because I do not know you, but based on what I've seen and read, you like changed your life. And I feel like that is so hard to do. And I feel like everybody in LA can kind of relate to that to an extent.
Right. It can go 2 ways. And
Everybody
and you like took a sharp right and went the right way.
Yeah,
And
and
that's really cool and
everybody who
inspiring.
comes to LA comes here to an extent to change their life.
Dreams.
Like, you come from somewhere that just didn't totally support the vision you had for yourself, so you go to like the land of dreaming, and that's what LA is.
Yeah.
But yours is like so extreme, like living in your car and leaving your family, and like you don't have to get too.
You mentioned
heavy.
that earlier. We don't have to get heavy. You mentioned that earlier, but I did not know that.
Well, only
Which part?
because I'm
You living in
a
your
straight A
car.
student and I research things like a loser.
I know.
She's like, while you were drinking, I was researching.
No, she's type A as hell. She has
I
like
really
400 questions prepared.
I'm
I was
so-
like,
I'm
I love
such a
Bobby.
nerd.
We'll
Love
figure it out as
that.
we go. What was the? Here's what. The
Okay,
question.
break it down.
What was the moment where it like shifted, in terms of like your mentality? Like,
I met this one.
really? Oh my God, that's so cute. His husband's
Wait.
right next to him.
Where did you guys meet?
We actually met online.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Love
on
that
Gay.
grinder.
No,
I just get it.
it was way before smartphones. We're only,
I got it. You're like, I opened my flip phone.
it
and
was
I
on gay.com.
Okay, wait. But back to the question. What was the moment where you were like, wait, I'm gonna fucking change things? Oh yes, when you met Dewey, yes.
Well, the moment I was like, fuck, I've got to change things. I think I was 17.
Okay.
And I was still living in Missouri. At that point, I had lived on my own for like 1.5 years, 2 years. And I went to take a friend to work one day, and the normal route we took was blocked for construction. So I went to go through this parking lot to like cut through to another road, and like every exit of the parking lot was blocked. And I was like, it just brought my car to a screeching halt. I was like, this is my life.
Yeah.
Every exit I try to take is blocked, and I can't get out of this fucking parking lot, you know? And so right then and there, I was like, I've got to do something. I've got to do something big. And within 24 hours, I had put everything I owned in a U-Haul and moved to
Ooh,
Colorado.
that gives me chills.
Because I knew if I didn't do it then, while I still had this like
Yeah, you gotta act
passion
instantly.
and
Yes.
like I would talk myself out of it. The logical person I am was like, well, you can't do that. You don't have this and you don't have that.
Yeah.
I gotta go. I gotta go now. I've gotta go. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's where it changed. And then I got to Denver and I was there 3 or 4 years. And then I kind of felt the same way about Denver. I remember pulling up over the peak going into the valley of Denver in my big old U-Haul and thinking, oh my God, this is such a big city. I'm never gonna make it here. The city's gonna kill me. I'm gonna end up back in Missouri. And then fast forward 3.5 years later, I'm like, oh my God, Denver is so small. It's just driving me crazy. I've gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Which is then when I went to Manhattan.
Wait.
Wow.
This is a related question. Did you always like feel inside of you that you would be successful, or was it a mystery? Was it like
that
a
lingering thought?
Yeah, like,
you're
did you
it's gonna be
feel
all
it?
good.
I always, even as a little kid, I always knew I wanted more. I always knew where I was,
Yeah.
what I was doing was not who I was and
Yeah.
what I would be doing.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what that was, but I always knew I did not belong in a little town in Missouri.
Right.
That was not for me. Not that there's anything wrong with Missouri.
No, of course.
You know, it's funny. I always say I spent 17 years of my life trying to get the fuck out of there, and then Queer Eye's like, we're going to Missouri.
Yeah.
You're like also very triggering.
We were
but
just saying, I love Kansas City. We were just talking about
yes.
it.
And then I get there and I was like, I kept telling my husband, I was like, God, I could live here.
No, it's great.
I really like Kansas
like-
City.
it's
Missouri
great.
is a very different place now.
We were
Yeah.
saying Kansas City is clean.
Kansas
It
City
is.
because Jacob,
Yeah.
our lovely engineer, is from Kansas City,
Jacob.
and I was just saying that every time I've been to Kansas City on tour, I remember it because it's so clean.
Did you do the Sprint Center?
Yes.
We lived right across the street from the Sprint Center.
Oh wow, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
So, Bobby, interiors and design. It's very
Interiors
successful.
plus design.
Plus design. I'm sorry. So it's a very successful business. It's been successful for a while, and I'm just curious when you had the idea to be like, I want to start this.
Yeah.
Because I remember the second I wanted to start Pentatonics, I remember where I was, what I was doing, and I'm just curious if you remember that.
It was like an
I do.
aha moment.
So I actually didn't start out as an interior design firm. I don't have an interior design background. I dropped out of high school at 15. I don't have a college degree. I don't have a high school degree.
Whoa, I did not know.
God, you're amazing first guest.
I'm so inspired right now. It's not.
Wow, you didn't graduate anything. Amazing.
I love that we love that. We're like, you're just amazing
You
on
didn't
your
graduate
own.
college, yeah. Okay.
I dropped out too.
And so, fast forward from 15 of dropping out of high school to being in New York and working at Restoration Hardware and then Bed Bath & Beyond and a company called Portico.
And did you just work there because you needed a job? Like it
Yeah,
wasn't,
like
okay.
literally I had just worked retail. And
Yeah.
then when I moved to New York, I happened to get a job in furniture retail at Restoration Hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've always had a passion for design. I always loved design. But, again, without that formal training, I didn't think it was ever something that I could
Yeah.
do. So I just got in design because of working at Restoration Hardware and then Portico, which was also a furniture company. And Portico, I had built their spa division, which bath and like shampoos and conditioners and all the Hyatt hotels, and then also their e-commerce division. And then one day, unfortunately, they just up and went bankrupt.
Wow.
And so I'm sitting at home that night. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? I have no job. This is New York City. He was in med school
You guys
still.
were together
Yeah,
at
he
that
was
point.
in med school. Yeah, we met a week before he started med school.
And y'all been together how long?
Just 15 years.
Work. That's so cute.
He'll say like 9, but that's because he loses
also
track.
like 90
yeah,
years.
he'll be
years.
like, yeah, we've been together for 9 years. I'm like, no. He's like, well, we always say 9. I'm like, no, we
It's 'cause
said
he's so-
9 6 years ago.
It's because he's so lost in the love, he doesn't
true,
even
it's
realize.
true.
It's cute. Okay, so
and
Portico.
so Portico went bankrupt. So I literally got online and registered BobbyBurkHome.com, and I'm like, well,
Wow.
maybe I'll. And I cloned the e-commerce
Five
website that I had built for Portico, and I'm like, maybe I'll sell a sofa or two while I look for another job.
Wait, that is so
So
sexy to me and reminds me
Yeah,
of
I'm
you.
turned on too.
It reminds me of you because in the last episode when Scott and I were talking, we were talking about, and I want to ask you this too. Like I was saying, Scott, you're famous for being an amazing singer, but what do you think you're great at? And then I interrupted him and told him what I think he's great at. And it reminded me of that, which is you guys both seem to have this creative spirit and this like entrepreneurial spirit where it's like, yes, you're really great at the creative aspect of what you do, but really you're just like an idea machine and like a hard work machine. And like what the outlet was is like maybe just slightly chance or
Yeah, we found our lane and then we used like our true strength. To
yeah, which I
progress
think
that.
is really cool.
And to me, I've always been that type of person, especially having been out on my own for at such a young age,
Yeah.
that I had to make it. I
Right.
didn't have anything to fall back on.
Yeah.
I didn't have my parents to fall back on. Nothing. It was, okay, I don't have a job. I've got to do something
Right.
because I have to
Right,
eat. I have to pay
right.
my rent. So even before that, it was always like, if I got fired, actually, I think I've been fired from every job I've ever had.
I would be too.
Yeah, no,
I have a problem
literally,
with
yeah.
authority.
I
Like,
never
me
would have
too.
been
That's
fired
why I was like,
ever.
I've gotta-
I'm such a good fucking student.
I'd be like, fuck you if I was like 5 minutes late.
So
Okay, keep
the website did well, and it started doing really well. And then
Why do you think it did well? Sorry to interrupt.
That's a great question though.
Because I'm sure a lot of people have started websites like that and they've like
Yeah.
had 8 viewers. Why did yours go viral?
because I think I was kind of the first of its kind.
Interesting.
This was 2005, 2006.
Right.
E-commerce wasn't a big deal back then.
Right.
You didn't buy furniture online. Like I had a hard time getting manufacturers to sell to me.
So was that
because,
was that like a wild idea for you to do that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you just
especially not having stores. Like I started opening up physical retail stores because I was having such a hard time getting manufacturers to sell to me with only a website.
Right. But you say that casually, like, I just started to open up stores.
Right.
Like, how did that happen? Like, how can you just open up stores?
So before I was working for the company Portico, how I got involved with them was I worked for an Italian linen company before that. And they had hired me to help them expand their brand in the US. And everything I would try to do, they would fight me on. Like, for example, flat sheets. You know, Americans like flat sheets. In Italy, it's just a duvet cover and fitted sheet.
Yeah.
So, like,
I'm in Italy, to be honest.
little things like that, they would just fight me. I'm like, if you want your brand to work here, you need to put a flat frickin' sheet in there, or
Right.
most Americans aren't going
Right.
to buy it. So eventually they fired me, telling me I was an idiot, I wouldn't amount to anything. So then fast forward 2 years later, BobbyBurkHome.com was doing really well. It was starting to be very well known. And I get a call from the Italian guy one day, and he's like, "Oh, I see you have a brand now, and I have a store in Soho, and it's not doing so good."
Work with this accent.
And so he's like, do you want to buy me out? And I looked at his books, and he had like over $500,000 in debt. And all of my friends in finance and banking were like, "No, this is crazy. Don't do this. Like, you have like."
That's terrifying.
Yeah, no, don't do this. Don't buy a company that is struggling and in massive amounts of debt. But I looked at the fact that they had a lease in Soho as a massive asset.
Yeah,
You're so right.
smart.
I am being
That
chills at
takes-
everything.
We're like so gagged because those little decisions and those little understandings are
and
everything.
The risks are everything.
Yeah.
It takes brands decades to
Yeah.
get stores in Soho.
Right.
And once you have a store in Soho, once your brand is in Soho in New York, you've made it. And so I'm like, I can skip years of work
Right.
by taking on debt that I might or might not be able to pay off. But hell, if I can make this happen, then I'm skipping decades of work and decades of brand
Yeah,
building.
and
So I bought him out, took him on as a partner actually in the beginning. I turned the location into just a sample sale location. I brought in closeout bedding from Italy, and I had a guy standing on the corner of Spring and Crosby and Spring and Broadway with a big old sign on him
my
that said
God.
Italian bedding sample sale, handing out flyers, and had the almost $600,000 in debt paid off in less than 9 months.
That's outrageous.
That actually gave me chills.
what I really want to ask you, like, so were you not like, did you feel passionate about the products, or were you more passionate about like the adventure of the business?
I wasn't passionate about. I mean, don't get me wrong. Bedding is one of the things I will tell you in your home. Like, people are like, "What is the one thing you should splurge on in your home if you don't have money to splurge?" I'm like, bedding.
Yeah, that's
Bedding.
Even
good
when I
advice.
was dirt
you spend like
poor.
a third of your life
Yes.
in
Yeah,
bed.
it's
Yes,
very
even when I was
true.
dirt poor, like I had good bedding.
Yeah.
It's
Have
so
to.
important.
Yeah.
So yes, I was passionate about bedding, but I knew I wanted to build a brand. And so a sample sale bedding place was not my goal. It was
Right.
just an ends to a means of getting this debt paid off.
Right.
And so as soon as I got the company out of debt, I turned the store into a Bobby Berk home store. I pushed out that Italian partner, and the store in Soho started doing really well. And then in 2010, we went to Peru on vacation, and we came back home through Miami. And like I fell in love with Miami, and I'm like, I want to be here all the time.
Yeah.
And so I opened up a store in Miami just because I wanted to be.
Oh my God, I
Miami.
love that.
Fun.
And so we ended up getting a place in Miami, and so we had a store in Miami, a store in New York, and then I opened one up in Atlanta and in LA, and the brand started getting well known and doing well, and
Wow.
I started licensing it out to other companies, like for wallpaper lines and rugs that sold in other stores like Target and Nordstrom's and Home Depot.
That's insane. But sorry, keep going.
No.
I was just gonna say, like, why did the brand do so well?
Yeah,
Like,
how
what
did-
was it?
yeah.
Because the thing is, we all want to start things.
Yeah.
But they all fail. But it
Yeah.
feels like everything you started and every venture that you like embarked on went well. Why? Why was that?
I honestly think it's because it's always been very important to me to be relatable and to be real.
Okay.
And with my stores, I remember a guy who I hired in the Miami store. Once I hired him, he said to me, the moment I started interviewing with your store manager over there, I saw you in the store and you were over there dusting and vacuuming and like helping customers. And he's like, I want to work here because here's this guy that owns all these stores and he's just in the store working and cleaning like anyone else. And to me, I think that's why my stores were successful, because I never was like, oh, I'm Bobby Berk. I actually usually, and I can't do this now
genuine
because I'm on
passion for
TV, but I would say my name was Kevin. Like I never even used to tell people that I own the store.
Right.
You know, because I didn't want them to know.
Kevin is a really funny choice.
That's a great
Kevin,
choice.
no, Kevin Johnson. And the funny thing is, if you ever watched
Johnson.
Lost,
That's my alias as well.
if you ever watched Lost, there was this guy that like went away for a couple seasons and then came back again. I forget his real
show
name
is
in real
confusing.
life.
Yeah,
but
that
when
show
he
is
came back, under the fake name of Kevin Johnson.
Oh my
And
God.
it blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, no
Serendipitous.
way. I'm like, that's my fake
Synchronicity.
name too.
All right, you guys. So that was part 1 of our conversation with Bobby Berk. Tune in next time to hear the second part of the conversation. See y'all then.